The moment you stop being easy to control is the most dangerous moment in a toxic relationship. Not because you did something wrong, not because you said the wrong thing or made a mistake, but because the second a toxic person realizes they can no longer pull your strings, something shifts, the mask slips, and what comes out from behind that mask is something you were never supposed to see. See, toxic people don't just disappear when you stand up for yourself. They don't give up. They don't walk away quietly and leave you alone. No, they change tactics. They find a new angle. They come back with a different weapon, hoping this one will finally break you down and bring you back under their control. And the scary part? Most people never see it coming. Because by the time a toxic person switches their approach, you're already tired. You're already second-guessing yourself. You're already wondering if maybe, just maybe, you're the problem. And that exhaustion, that confusion, that's exactly what they're counting on. So if you've ever stood your ground with someone toxic and suddenly everything got worse instead of better, this is for you. Because what I'm about to share with you right now, these 5 things that toxic people do once they realize you're not easy to control, once you see them clearly, you can never be trapped by them again. And the most important thing to know before we begin is this: none of what they do is an accident. Every single move is calculated. Every single reaction is designed. And every single thing they do is meant to do one thing only: pull you back. So let's get into it. Number 1. They suddenly become the sweetest person you have ever seen. Pay very close attention here, because this is the one that tricks the most people. Even people who know better. Even people who told themselves they were done for good. Here is what happens. You pull back. You stop being as available. You stop jumping every time they call. You stop twisting yourself into a pretzel just to keep them happy. And just when you're starting to breathe again, just when you're starting to feel like yourself again, they show up. But they don't show up the way you expected. They don't show up angry or demanding. They show up soft. They show up kind. They show up with the exact version of themselves you always wished they would be. The version you used to beg for. The version you used to cry about not seeing. Suddenly they're asking how you're doing and actually waiting for the answer. Suddenly they remember the small things. Suddenly they're saying all the right words, making all the right moves, being everything they never wanted to be before. And inside you, something stirs. That familiar warmth, that hope, that small voice that says, maybe they've changed. Maybe this is real. And I want you to hear me very carefully right now. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is a trap. This move has a name. In psychology, it is called love bombing. But in plain words, it is bait. Beautiful, carefully crafted, emotionally targeted bait, specifically designed to speak to the part of you that still wants to believe in them. Here is the question you need to ask yourself when someone starts showing up differently the moment you start pulling away. Why now? Where was this version of them when you were hurting? Where was this energy when it actually mattered? Genuine change is quiet. It is slow. It is consistent, even when there is nothing to gain from it. It doesn't arrive on schedule right after you stop being easy to control. It doesn't disappear the moment it has what it wants again. But manufactured sweetness, it shows up exactly when it needs to. It is perfectly timed. And the moment you give in, the moment you come back, it fades. Because it was never meant to last. It was only meant to bring you back. So, the next time someone suddenly becomes your dream person, the moment you start pulling away, don't get swept up in the feeling. Get still, get quiet, and ask yourself, is this change or is this just a better strategy? Number 2, they go after the people around you. This one doesn't feel like an attack at first. That is what makes it so dangerous. You've stepped back. Maybe you've stopped replying as fast. Maybe you've stopped showing up for every single thing they need. And for a little while, things feel quieter. You feel lighter. And then it starts. A friend mentions something strange. A family member brings up a conversation that catches you off guard. Someone you trust says, "Hey, I heard some things about you recently." And one by one, piece by piece, you start to realize that while you were busy healing, this person was busy working, telling their version of the story, painting you as the one who gave up, as the one who changed, as the one who can't be trusted. This is what toxic people do when they can't reach you directly anymore. They go around you. If someone builds a wall to keep them out, they don't just stand at the wall and knock. They walk around. They look for a side door. And in a relationship, the side door is always the people you love. Because if they can turn your friends against you, make your family confused, slowly cut off the people in your corner, then you feel alone. You feel like no one sees your side. And when you feel like that, you become desperate. And desperate people are much easier to pull back. A person who truly cared about you would never involve other people to pressure you back. They would come to you directly. But a person whose only goal is to reclaim control, they will use every person in your life as a chess piece to get there. So here is what you do. You don't panic. You don't rush to defend yourself to every single person they've spoken to. You stay grounded. You stay consistent. You keep being the person you know yourself to be. Your job is not to fight the narrative. Your job is to live in a way that makes the narrative collapse on its own. Number 3. They test you with small things first. This one is so subtle that most people miss it completely, and missing it is exactly what the toxic person is counting on. Once they realize that big moves and grand gestures aren't working, they switch gears. They stop coming at you loudly. They get small. They get quiet. They start to probe. It begins with something tiny, something so minor you almost laugh at yourself for noticing it. They ask for a small favor. They send a short message and see how long it takes you to reply. They bring up something from your past casually, just to see how you react. They push just barely enough to measure exactly where your edges are. And if you give in, even a little, they take note, they file it away. And they push a little more next time, and a little more after that. And slowly, without you ever making one big decision to let them back in, they are back in, fully, completely. This is called boundary testing, and it is one of the most patient, deliberate things a toxic person does. Here is why it works. Because we are wired to let small things go. We tell ourselves, it's just one small thing, I'm not going to fight over this. And that reasonable, mature thinking gets used against us. Every small thing you let go of sends a signal. It tells them your fence has a gap. So here is what I want you to carry with you. Holding your ground on small things is not being petty. It is not overreacting. It is maintenance. It is you saying, I see what you're doing, and this fence is solid. No gaps, no entry. Because if you hold the small things, the big things never get a chance. Number 4. They use your own words and your own past against you. This one is quiet. It doesn't look like an attack from the outside. But on the inside, it is one of the most disorienting things a human being can experience. Think about all the things you ever shared with this person. The dreams you told them about in a soft, honest moment. The fears you opened up about when you trusted them. The mistakes you admitted to because you believed they were safe. Now imagine all of that being used as ammunition. Not loudly, not in a big obvious fight, but quietly, in small, sharp, perfectly aimed comments. They bring up a past mistake right when you start feeling confident. They remind you of a fear right when you're about to take a step forward. They mention something you said in your weakest moment right when you're trying to stand in your strength. And the effect is immediate. You shrink. You doubt yourself. You wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe you haven't really changed. That right there is the goal. Because they are not just attacking you. They are attacking you with yourself, using the trust you gave them as a knife. And the wound it creates is not just painful. It is confusing. How do you fight back against your own words? How do you defend yourself against your own history? You do it by remembering this. Your past does not define your present. Your mistakes do not cancel your growth. Sharing your truth with someone was an act of courage. What they did with it is a reflection of their character, not yours. When someone uses your soft moments to keep you small, they have shown you exactly who they are. The right people, the safe people, they hold your story gently. They never use it as a leash. Number 5. They disappear completely to make you come running. When nothing else has worked, when the sweetness didn't reel you back in, when going after the people around you didn't shake you, when the small tests didn't find a gap, when using your past against you didn't break you down. A toxic person does something that feels completely opposite to everything they've done before. They go quiet. They vanish. Completely. No messages, no calls, no drama, just silence. Cold, total, deliberate silence. And at first, you might feel relieved. Finally. Maybe this is actually over. But then a day passes. Then 2. Then a week. And something strange starts to happen. You wonder, did I go too far? Are they okay? Maybe I should just check in, just once. And there it is, that pull, that quiet, creeping anxiety that makes you want to reach out just to end the silence. That is exactly what they engineered. This is called the silent treatment. But let's call it what it really is. It is withdrawal. A toxic person removing themselves on purpose to create a hunger in you, to make you feel the absence, to make you forget why you pulled away, and only remember the moments that felt good. It is designed to make you the one who comes crawling back, so they have won without doing a single thing, without apologizing, without changing. You came back on your own. Here is the truth. Real peace does not make you anxious. If someone's absence makes you feel like you need to chase them, that is not love talking. That is conditioning. A pattern built inside you, over time, to make sure you always came back. The antidote is simple, but not easy. You sit in the silence. You breathe through the pull. You remember why you stepped back. And you let their absence be the answer. Because if someone truly valued you, they would not use their presence as a reward and their silence as a punishment. They would just show up, consistently, without games. Now you see all five: the false sweetness, the attack on your circle, the small test, the words turned into weapons, the punishing silence. Every move is designed to do one thing: return you to a place where they hold the power and you don't. But now you see it. And what you can see clearly, you can protect yourself from completely. Your peace, your energy, your life, those things are not prizes for someone else to win. They belong to you. Protect them like it.